Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, we make like Nintendo Live and set up shop right next to PAX West. It's dangerous to go alone, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society goes with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, and I'm joined as I'm always joined by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. We've got a good show for you today. We're going to be talking about the news from the week, including details about Nintendo Live. And then on Thursday, we are going to be talking about our favorite thing from each Zelda game in anticipation of Tears of the Kingdom. But Mark, in the meantime, how's it going?
It's going great. Can I ask you a question, Patrick?
Yeah.
I was thinking about this last night as I was eating some watermelon. So, you know, in watermelon, and especially in seedless watermelon,
Yes.
there are...
Did you get this like sliced, or did you...
No.
You got a full watermelon and someone guts and cleans it for you.
Yeah. I was going to say, it was someone being my husband.
Right.
It would be a lie to say that I do this at all. But he picks the watermelon. He's great at it.
Right.
He cuts it up into little pieces.
Yeah.
And then I get to enjoy it.
Right.
I do things for him, so it's all fine.
No, that was defensive posture. You didn't need
that.
that.
Okay, so there's like black watermelon seeds.
Yes.
And then there's like
there's like the white ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you eat the white ones? I've never thought twice about like eating the white ones.
In what way? You never thought twice about it, so you just do it, or you never thought twice about it, so you just don't do it?
I do it. Do you?
I don't. Honestly,
they're like different.
Yeah. Yes, you're right. They're not like hard. They're kind of like slimy.
What are they?
I don't know.
Are they like malformed seeds?
Okay, so is it possible that there's a watermelon growing in your belly right now, and we've got to go in there like inner space and get it out before you explode?
It's a question.
Is that possible?
Yeah.
You've been also eating a lot of dirt, right?
Yeah.
A lot of like enriched soil. Mark, can I ask you a question?
Oh wait, sorry. So are we just done? We just don't know.
I don't know. I don't.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not going to look it up. And I honestly, I think I probably do just eat them without a second thought. Was there? Were you doing it and your husband was like, "What are you doing?"
Was he like disgusted?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No. But it's weird.
Yeah. I mean, I think either way, I think even if you're eating like the regular seeds in a watermelon, it's fine.
Right.
I
agree with that.
You may just not want that experience. Like you could eat an apple like core and all. Like that's fine too.
Well, especially like a watermelon seed, like you can just swallow it. Like you're not forced to chew it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Because it's so small.
Yeah.
It's not like an avocado pit or something.
What was your question?
Okay, so let me ask you my question.
Yeah.
I went for, I was in your neighborhood early today because we got a little bit of a late start, but I was just on a schedule, so I got over here early. And I went for a little bit of a walk. And Mark, I saw a store with a name that I didn't understand.
Okay.
I took a picture of it.
Okay.
And I'm going to text it to you right now. And you can tell me what the name of this store is, and then see if you can tell me what it means.
Okay.
Okay. I've texted it to you now.
I am waiting to receive your text.
Okay, great.
Okay, I'm looking at it. Okay. Random acts of breadness.
Yes.
Is this what we're talking about?
That's what we're talking about. The name of the store is Random Acts of Breadness.
Huh. I mean, I get it. Okay, it's a sourdough bakery.
Right, and this is like the subtitle is Artisan Sourdough Bakery. And
Legendary bread gifts.
Yes. But the name of the place is Random Acts of Breadness. I
get it.
I get it, but like, does this count as a pun? What is this?
Yeah, I feel like, is it a portmanteau?
No, of what? I'm like kindness and bread, I suppose, but like the words aren't similar enough, and like breadness isn't a thing.
Uh-huh.
I was walking by this and it started to like hurt my head. Like I could hear ringing in my ears looking at this sign.
Well, here's what I'll say for random acts of breadness. It's catchy. You remembered it. You took a picture of it.
I did.
That's viral marketing, my friends.
I've also now texted it to multiple people to say, what is this? No one knows. If anyone wants to like walk it, so I texted it to a friend of the show, Ryan Mogi. And would you like to hear Ryan Mogi's explanation?
Yes.
Everyone give Ryan Mogi a follow on everything because she's a genius. But here was her logic. Bread means money. Money means cash. Cash means Johnny. Johnny means toilet. Toilet means can. Can means beans. Beans means mind. Mind means consider. Consider means kind.
Oh, that's amazing.
So Ryan did the math. It is up to everyone to either accept it or reject it.
That's so good.
But yeah, it's Ryan Mogi, one of our few national treasures. Mark, if you would, if people would like to support us, they enjoy what they're hearing on this show, they can go to patreon.com/Nintendo Cartridge Society and check out all of the rewards that we have to offer for people who support us at the 4, 8, and 16-bit levels.
That's right. And if you are supporting us at the 8 and 16-bit level, you have access to a monthly bonus episode. We are wrapping up a mini series that we're doing right now called NCS Detective Club, where we're talking about the greatest detective shows on television. And we're in the midst of Patreon supporters voting on what that next mini series should be.
Yes, that's right. So we have 4 options up there right now, and only patrons, only people who are supporting us on Patreon can vote. You have until the end of this coming weekend. So whatever that date is, the 14th at midnight Sunday night, to get in there and vote. There are 4 options. One is we do another season of NCS Detective Club. Another is we do some Clone Wars story arcs and talk about them. Another one is about musicals, and then a 4th one is about music from our favorite video games. So get in there and vote if you are very passionate about hearing one of those shows over the other. Become a patron and vote in there. And I'm very excited to see how this whole thing shakes out.
Yeah, me too. So again, that's patreon.com/Nintendo Cartridge Society.
Mark, we got an email that I'd like to address from Patrick C. Patrick writes, new Switch owner and listener of the podcast. Loving it so far. Really enjoy the podcast. Would like to join the Discord. Thanks. And I just wanted to read that here so I can type, here you go. There's the link. And I've sent it along. Patrick C. has now been invited live on the podcast to the Discord.
Wow. I think that's the first time that's happened, a live invite.
I mean, I normally don't send emails during a recording
that
session.
I know about. I'm not always looking at your screen.
I do a lot of work over here. If you would like to join our Discord, all you have to do is email us at Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com and let us know that you want in there. We will let you right in.
And thank you, Patrick. Thanks, and thank you for listening.
All right, Mark, let's get into what we've been playing this week. You know, it wasn't in my plan that the recording equipment would pick up the sound of me sending an email, but that's a wonderful, just like...
Yeah, that was really nice.
Wonderful little bit of happenstance. Mark, Tetris 99 ticket update.
Look, I feel like I have to play both good cop and bad cop in this, and I'm looking at your performance for the week,
all right.
and I don't even know that I want to do a theme song.
Whoa!
So maybe we're considering
this 768 tickets, which is only up 8 tickets from last week's total. I'll do it for myself. I don't care.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. I really am. I'm struggling. Should I be supportive? Should I be angry? Now I know what parents feel like.
Right.
What's the best way to motivate it?
What kind of enforcement is going to work here? Negative, positive.
Yeah, what is going to get Patrick to... And look, I don't even want it for myself.
Yeah,
right?
You just want it for me.
Exactly.
I mean, you'll be excited when I get to the $9.99.
I'll be ecstatic, like a proud parent.
I wonder what happens when I get like one more ticket. Does it go into 4 digits? Can I do that?
Oh yeah, I wonder.
I had friends in town this weekend for like a long weekend. They from Thursday to Sunday. I didn't play Tetris at all during that time. So I've not made a lot of progress. I got 8 tickets.
All right. Well, now let me put my like bad cop hat aside.
Okay.
And just say, I think it's great that you're making any sort of progress.
Thank you.
And I'm still excited. I feel, I'm excited for when you reach 999.
It'll happen someday. Mark, I got to tell you, I picked up Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon again this week.
Is the DLC out or not yet?
It is out, but not on Switch.
Oh, okay.
So I was playing a version of it without the DLC, and I was playing it a little bit to show a friend of mine, the friend that was visiting, because he likes sort of like puzzle games and stuff like that, and I thought maybe he could wrap his head around Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon, and he watched me play for like 20 minutes and was like, I can't. Like, I know you're explaining, but I don't know what you're doing. So we didn't make it very far. But it was fun to screw around with it for a little while. And I don't know. It feels, my success in that game feels very random. I think I need to, like, watch some videos on, like, how the game is played well. And just, because, like, I feel like I'm missing something still. But we'll see. Mark, what have you been playing this week?
I've been playing Super Mario Galaxy. My goal was to try to finish the game, defeat Bowser before Tears of the Kingdom comes out, and I think I could still do it. I think I need like 20 stars or something like that.
Yeah.
To get to that point. So,
how many stars do you need to challenge Bowser?
I'm not. I'm not sure.
Okay.
There comes a point where like the floor in front of the map where like Rosalina is standing has a countdown, and maybe that triggers at like 30 stars, and then I think you have like 25 more that you have to get or something like that. But I can't remember exactly. I really don't have anything new to say about Super Mario Galaxy after talking about it for a few weeks. But man, it's really good, and it does just make me wish that Galaxy 2 was available on Switch as well.
Yeah, it's a minor crime that it's not. I mean, it's also a little bit of a crime that they didn't update Galaxy at all in any way. They could have easily sold a Galaxy 2 like updated bundle for like a full $60, but I guess they did that anyway with Super Mario 3D All-Stars, so whatever. Nintendo knows what they're doing. I don't want to go on for too long about this, but I did pick up Star Wars Jedi Survivor this weekend.
I'd be really interested in.
I'm not going to go on for too long.
Your experience is with this game.
So this was another, bought it because my friend was in town, and we played a fair amount of Jedi Fallen Order together over the pandemic, just like through PlayStation Share. So played through the first. You start off on Coruscant in the game, and we played through that section together.
Where in the Star Wars timeline do these games take place?
Between prequel and original trilogy.
Oh, okay, cool.
So you're playing as, obviously exiled Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, Cal Kestis, survivor of Order 66 as a Padawan, and sort of like making his own way in the galaxy. In the first game, you are following in the footsteps of Eno Cordova, a Jedi Master who was trying to seek out Force-sensitive children in the galaxy to, rebuild the Jedi Order after Order 66. It's a shame that that Order is in both of those, that the word Order is in both of those things. And he is, killed, and so you're sort of doing this, but you realize throughout the course of the game that in finding this holocron that has the location of Force-sensitive children, you're also exposing Force-sensitive children to, or potentially exposing them to, the Inquisitors who are hunting them down and killing them, as you could have seen in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, or like the Darth Vader comics that Charles Soule wrote a couple years ago. And so you just destroy it, and you're like, no more Jedi Order, no more Force-sensitive kids. So that's where this game picks up, is a couple years after that. The team he's with is disbanded, and he's like doing reconnaissance work for Saw Gerrera. And like it's the first chapter of it, just on Coruscant, is like a fun like heist adventure that of course goes wrong. And so I'm sort of like putting the pieces back together now, and exploring the early hours of this game.
I know you really loved the first one, and everything I've heard about this one is really good, except for the performance. And you're playing it on PS5.
I'm playing it on PlayStation 5. Yeah.
How has it been for you?
Fine.
Yeah.
It's Whenever a game has like some sort of whenever there's a big like AAA game like this, and people are complaining about like performance issues, um, and mind you, I don't play like Bethesda games or anything like any of those games that have like reputations of being like really janky games, but like I experience like some pop in, sometimes in like cinematics where it's like cutting between camera angles. It just seems like a little like jittery, a little janky, but like I don't like none of it. I'm just like this is how games look, like when a game is like buttery smooth from like start to finish, something like Last of Us Part 2, that's the miracle. That's not the standard, or at least that's how I feel. Like I know that video games are so complicated and so big, and I could be going into any cutscene wearing any style of clothes on Cal, any hairstyle. I can paint his lightsaber any colors I want. I can paint his droid any colors I want. And the scene still plays out the same way. And it's like photorealistic computer graphics. I'm like, if it stutters a little bit, okay. I'm witnessing a miracle here. It doesn't really bother me when it's not perfect. I've not had any like gameplay issues yet. It's not crashed on me or anything like that. So like it's the performance is good. And if it were even a little bit worse than this, I'd say it's still fine. I'm still having a good time. But I do understand that like that is a thing like about it is like look out for performance issues. But I'm sort of like, I don't know. I'm sort of just like, it's okay.
It hasn't affected your enjoyment.
We're going to play Tears of the Kingdom in a little bit, and there'll be too many blades of grass on screen, and it'll dip to like 12 frames per second. We'll be like, that's okay. Like, so let's just extend the same grace to Jedi Survivor. All right, Mark, that's what we've been playing this week. Let's get into the new releases and what we might be playing next week.
Of course. This Friday, May 12th, Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom is released, plus the Link Tears of the Kingdom amiibo, also releasing on Friday.
And the Tears of the Kingdom Pro Controller also releasing this Friday.
Yeah, that's right. It's just kind of weird that after anticipating this game since 2019,
yes,
that Tears of the Kingdom is finally here, and it feels like a milestone of sorts. What it is marking, I don't really know, but it like in some ways it feels like a bookend to the Switch experience.
Even though we don't have any
even though
like
that's not
inkling
true,
of what comes
next.
Like
there's still games coming out this year on Switch. But yeah, it just feels like such a, you look back to 2017 and when Breath of the Wild came out, and now all these years later to have its sequel, it really just I don't know, it feels like another marker in time.
It does feel like permission to look forward, right? Like, or permission to look beyond what the Switch currently is. Like, I think about its, obviously the parallels are not exact, but like, remember the Wii was a huge hit, right? And eventually it hit a point, the Wii hit a point where like it was diminishing returns and people were less excited about it. And Skyward Sword sort of marked a bookend to like new games coming out on Wii. There were a bunch that came out after that, but like that's sort of the swan song of the thing. Wii U comes out a couple years later, and like we start the whole cycle again. And I feel like the release of Tears of the Kingdom puts us on the other side of that, like that marker, like you were saying, and we can start to look forward to the Switch U or whatever,
right? Yeah,
whatever the next thing is. But of course, the part of that narrative that isn't true this time is there's no diminishing returns on the Switch. Like it just keeps selling more and more and better and better. So, I don't know that it's going to be affected by the same gravity that the Wii was.
I think that's true. I mean, I think the Switch has like peaked if you look at its overall sales numbers, and so it is on the downward crest of of its life cycle, which makes sense. It's been out since 2017. But it is sold an enormous amount of consoles already. I don't know. One thing will be really interesting to watch, and I'm not really like obsessed with sales numbers,
right?
But we've never had a Zelda game like Breath of the Wild, where that sold as many copies as it did and continued to sell just like kind of endlessly,
Right.
all
Right.
of these years in the Switch. And then, so that means we've never had like a direct sequel to a Zelda game like this.
Yes.
And so I
Well,
don't.
and especially coming out on a console that has such a high install base and is engaged on that same level, right? Like the Skyward Sword parallel, like to Wii. First of all, the Switch has outsold the Wii at this point, which is an insane thing, but it's true. But there are more people actively playing their Switches now than there were people actively playing their Wiis at the time that Skyward Sword came out.
Right. And so it's just like how like I don't really know. I don't really know what to expect.
I wonder what their internal expectations are.
Right, because it feels like it's going to open huge.
Yeah.
For sure. I guess even for myself, and I'm projecting this onto everybody.
Sure, do it.
But even for myself, I'm just like, will this be able to capture my imagination the way
Right.
that Breath of the Wild did?
Right.
And I feel like that's like the question for Tears of the Kingdom. I don't doubt it's going to be a great game. I don't doubt, like that the mechanics are going to be really cool. It just feels so hard to top that Breath of the Wild experience.
Right.
That I am just really curious to see. And I don't think we're going to know immediately. I think it's going to be weeks, months,
Yeah.
before we can really tell how
Ooh.
if Tears of the Kingdom is
What
able
if this
to...
is a hugely divisive thing? Like it could be.
Totally could
It
be.
totally could be a thing where people are like, "Wow, Tears of the Kingdom, great evolution, blah blah blah," and then it could also be people being like, "This is recycled garbage. It's no good," and both opinions could exist at the same time.
Yeah, I'm just again, I don't think we're gonna have any answers soon. I don't really think it matters in the long term. I think it's just gonna be so interesting to see it all play out because we've just never had a Zelda game like this. It's just never been, we've never I guess like Galaxy 2 what I'm trying to
Like
say is
direct
that
sequels?
like a direct comparison where you're like you had this massively successful thing, the most successful game that the Zelda series has ever had, and now you're having like a direct sequel to it on the same system and it's set in like the same world. It's just going to be really, really interesting.
It's
and a lot of
uncharted
fun.
territory,
I don't doubt that's going to be a lot of fun. It's just going to be interesting to watch how it all plays out.
Well, and like the thing with Zelda games is that, and the narrative around them, the critical narrative around them, is an ever changing thing, right? Like there's always like the hype leading into a game before it's revealed in any way, which is something crazy that Zelda can do. But there's that. There's the reaction after the reveal. There is whatever that opening salvo is when the game comes out. There are critical opinions. There's backlash. There's all this kind of stuff, and then like the opinions and like the cultural place that the games occupy change over time, and we are now in like the rarefied period before anyone really knows for sure what they feel about the game, right? Like you can say like, oh, this one might have dungeons, so I like it more, or this one like I get my horses back, I love it, but like we don't actually know how that's gonna feel.
It's also so interesting the space that we're in right this moment when we're recording, because copies of the game leaked last week.
Sure.
But I have stayed completely ignorant to any of those leaks, and so I don't know. I know that there are answers to these questions out there already. I just personally have absolutely no idea.
Those are illegal answers. No, I mean, people do what they do, but like, yeah, I guess you're right that there are some answers out there, but like there's not been like a crushing weight of we are going to reach a critical weight of just opinions being thrown around, right? Like, and it's so great how frequently Nintendo can like just command that space. They're fresh off of it with the Super Mario Brothers movie, where like everyone has to have a say on like it's good, it's bad, and like we're about to enter that again here. And I say everybody, but I recognize I'm only representing like our sliver of the world that really cares about this stuff. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is such an exciting time.
It is. It's super exciting.
Did you ever see those episodes of South Park where Cartman is waiting for the release of the Wii, and he wants to like freeze himself for a couple days so he doesn't have to like wait for GameStop to open to get a Wii?
No, that's funny.
And he wakes up like 30,000 years later. and is mad that he missed the Wii. Anyway, I feel like that's what we're all feeling right now.
Yeah. Sorry, just one more thing. I
Yes.
was also going to say that I think it will also be fun to have two Zelda games that theoretically are in such dialogue with each other.
Yes.
And to be able to, I don't know, in the future kind of figure out what that means.
Yes. I'm curious if we're going to have to rank a whole new set of outfits. Are those armor sets coming back? Are any of them coming back?
Yeah, I don't know.
Have we seen Link in anything but like the champion's tunic and like his kind of like shirtless barbarian look?
Not that I'm aware of, but no, you're right, because that's another thing that I'm sure is out there by this point, but I don't have any idea. Is it all of the content essentially that's in Breath of the Wild and then more on top of it?
It couldn't possibly be, right?
Yeah, so I'm guessing all new armor sets.
Yeah,
is my guess.
I would guess / hope that too. It also makes me wonder, like, are there, we know that like the Zonai are around here somewhere. We saw like a dinosaur looking person. Like, what other like kinds of people, kinds of creatures haven't we seen yet? There have to be so many.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Zelda games are great, and it's just exciting to be on the eve
so excited
of another one. Let's freeze ourselves for 3,000 years. There is also is an Ubisoft sale going on the Switch eShop right now. They just want to highlight a couple things because some of the Ubisoft will put their games on sale kind of a lot. Some of these games are on sale for like 80% off, and some of their big hitters are like discounted up to 50% off. So like Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, $30. That's half price. Scott Pilgrim versus the World is normally $15. It's $5. Both South Park games are the prices are slashed there. Fractured Butthole is $12. Stick of Truth is $9. Starlink Battle for Atlas, a game I paid like $80 for, is $8.99. So like, if any of these are of interest to you, if any Ubisoft games on Switch are of interest to you, check them out. They are for sure on sale. Maybe they're on sale for incredibly low prices. And of course, if you want, you can get Uno for $4. All right, Mark, are you ready to get out of the new releases?
Let's do it.
Which brings us to a regular segment on our show. It is time for 433. In 1952, American composer John Cage wrote a piece called 433, wherein a performer or group of performers didn't play their instruments for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. For the purposes of this show, our instruments are talking about Nintendo. So, for the duration of one performance, 433, Mark and I will talk about something not at all Nintendo related, thus fulfilling the contract of the piece. Mark, we have a Patreon reward whereby you can suggest topics for 433. This is a suggestion from Carrie on the Patreon. Thank you, Carrie, for supporting us.
Yeah, thank you.
And the suggestion here, and we're going to take this in whatever direction we want, is love.
Wow.
So
heavy.
It's heavy and it's a big topic.
Yeah.
And like my first sort of like reaction is to just like someone saying, "Hey, talk about love." Is just I followed a lot of like romantic impulses as a teenager, which I think kind of everyone does, right? But I like fancied myself a little romantic as a teenager. Like would do grand gestures and do like anniversary things and like all the kind of cute, like too cutesy lovey stuff that I feel like I've fallen way off of to the point where now I'm like, that's stupid, but I shouldn't do that. But I just think about how many of my like early decisions as a very young adult were like driven by romance and like love.
Yeah, that's really that is really interesting. I would say that I for a really long time was like really like boxed myself away from those sorts of emotions. It wasn't until because I was closeted, and just terrified that anybody would think I was gay, and so that was not part of my experience at all. I would say one of the things that has made me happiest is being more like which would follow is like opening myself up to allowing people to like love me and me to love them. And I'm talking not just like my husband, who of course I love, but also just uh my like friends and I feel like something that has become important to me as I've gotten older is letting people know how much I appreciate them.
Yeah.
Because I think that is it's something that is really like is meaningful to me when people let me know, like it makes me feel good when people say that, and I feel like it doesn't happen enough.
Yeah, well, I mean, it definitely doesn't happen enough, and I feel like there are always like blocks in, like, well, like having gone through like improv and which then like became so much of a part of like what built up our social structures. There's always this like irony armor or like bit armor,
Yeah,
right? Where you're just
totally.
like making jokes with people and like, even now, like I make new friends largely from like, where I'm in a context where I'm making jokes with them, right? And if I'm ever going into a strange situation, I'm like, nah, I'll just be funny. It'll be easier that way. But yeah, that can be like a harder thing to break down to get to the like sincere emotions that you have for the people in your life.
Yeah. I also think it's just the way that like kind of like commercially the world wants us to interact with it,
Ooh.
which is like very, like
Yeah.
you watch television commercials and everything like that, and everything has that irony armor.
Totally.
Everything is like dads suck,
Right.
like that sort of thing. There's very little a genuine connection.
I love the one example. Dads suck.
I mean, that's kind of like
No, but you're right.
Like 80% of
Right.
commercials.
No, dad's an idiot. It's not just that he sucks, but it's that he's an idiot.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And then like mom is a rule scold. Right.
Uh-huh.
Like those are the two. And these are the people that raised you.
Yeah. So it's just yeah. I don't know. It's I don't have anything like profound to add.
Right. Well, I would also say that like it is it's weird. I love you, Mark. You are one of my best friends.
Yeah, I love you too.
But we don't express that on this show very frequently.
Well,
I mean, we do
that's
sometimes
true.
when we're like arguing about which 3D Mario game is better, but now I'm talking about Nintendo. And I didn't see, now I feel bad because I feel like I jumped back to like irony armor to like get out of that one. I want it to linger here. I want I love you, Mark Mitchell. I want that to linger there. That's real.
I love you too, Patrick.
All right. We were accompanied today by pianist Kyle Shaw. All right, Mark, let's get into the news.
Just a few weeks ago, Nintendo announced that they are going to be holding their first Nintendo Live in North America, like an in-person fan event, but they didn't give very many details at the time, and now they have. We have some actual concrete details on the experience. So Nintendo Live 2023, which is the first event of its kind held in the United States, will be from September 1st through 4th at the Seattle Convention Center. And if that sounds familiar, that's because those are the same dates and location as PAX West.
Which now everything becomes clear.
Yes.
Because, when we were first like hypothesizing about what this could be, we were like, why, if you were having like a big fan event, would you have it in Seattle?
Right.
Like, obviously, that's where Nintendo is, or like, close to where Nintendo of America's offices are. But that's not really a central place for people from around the country to come to participate in a fan event. But if there already is a fan event and you can just staple yourself to that, it seems like that's all this is.
I also feel like, right, exactly, because I didn't look this up, but I am pretty sure Nintendo has gone to PAX West in the past, like
Yes.
had booths and stuff.
Well, they've certainly been to PAX. I don't know if they've been to PAX West before.
Yeah. So this feels kind of like an extension of that versus now it is like a separate ticketed event, even if you're going to PAX West. But there's like a special arrangement where, you enter like a separate drawing to get tickets for PAX West and like all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So,
well, and this is actually even more confusing than that. So if you have a Nintendo account and you are over the age of 18, you can register for free tickets between May 31st and June 22nd. You can register for free tickets on like the Nintendo Live website.
Right. And there will be random drawings.
There will be random drawings. If you are attending PAX West, there's more information on how you can access the Nintendo Live parts of that, or there will be more information about that on PAX West's website. So it doesn't seem like they have the mechanism for this like totally figured out yet. If you do get a ticket for Nintendo Live through Nintendo, it's good for 1 day of the event. So like I don't. Every new piece of information about this makes me think this is a small event. They're not gonna. It's not gonna be hundreds of thousands of people pouring through just Nintendo Live, and that it is really Nintendo maybe doing their like E3 style booths at PAX West.
Yeah, it makes me think that it's maybe like bigger than E3, but not big enough, like you said, where it's an all weekend holy Nintendo convention.
Right. But bigger than a breadness box.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, but what is going to be there?
Yes.
They say that fans will be able to play Switch titles, see live stage performances, game tournaments, photo ops, exclusive event merchandise, and more.
So exclusive events merchandise that
My
is
ears
that
perked up.
that got
My
me a little
ears
bit.
in my wallet.
Yep. Like I would like more information.
Well,
please.
and we for Animal Crossing New Horizons, they had a booth, I think at one of the PAX events, where they had Animal Crossing characters that you could go meet, and they had like and that was
man,
kind
if we
of like
can go meet KK Slider.
yeah, and it was like a smaller event, and so again, we don't know a lot of details. It does seem like our grand aspirations for what this could be are not going to be true, but there's still a lot of room for like I said, I think it'll be bigger than just their standard E3 booth.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see what they mean by live stage performances. The one in Japan is where they have those big like Splatoon concerts in the past. Having something like that there would be incredible.
Yeah,
like
that could be very cool.
But I do, yeah. Let's drill into the ticketing part of it. Like, so if like you were saying, Patrick, anybody with a Nintendo account can register
over the age of 18.
Over the age of 18 can register on Nintendo.com for, and I think you have to have like a North American Nintendo account.
That's probably right.
But you can register for free tickets starting on May 31st, and that runs through June 22nd. And then there will be random drawings within that. And if you are selected, you're selected for 1 day of the event.
1 day, 1 ticket as well. Like it is not for you and someone else. Which this feels like a
no. That is that's where it's
is there
not
a
true.
plus one?
So okay, it's a plus. So if you can register for yourself, and then it's just like a U ticket, or you can register your family group, and so that's how like an adult can register like children who are under 18 is because you register them all in your family group, and so then
do you
need
get
1 plus like 6.
Okay.
Up to 6.
Got it. But that's something you have to register for now.
Exactly.
And not August 31st.
Exactly. And as I understand it, then like if you and we could register individually, but we couldn't. We could if we even ended up getting tickets.
Right.
We would just get 1 ticket, or I could join your family group.
Got it.
And then if you got selected, we would then be able to have tickets for the same day. But that's the only like way to guarantee it.
We would have half as many chances, but we could go together.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So
seems like a mess.
It's just interesting. Like it logically makes a ton of sense.
Sure.
Right? Make people register with Nintendo accounts. Although I guess you could theoretically just create it as many as you wanted to improve your chances.
I made a burner Nintendo account for to move my
right.
Animal Crossing
right.
island. Yeah.
But I think the bummer for me is just like, there's no way for you and I to try to like, I mean, I guess I could join your family group, or you could join. I don't have a family group. You know what I mean? Where it's just
right,
like,
right.
And is that the same thing as like
Well, wait,
a
why
Nintendo
couldn't-
Switch Online?
No, it can't be
Family
that. It
group?
can't be
Okay,
that because
got
it
it,
can't
got
be
it,
a
got
paid
it.
thing. Because
Okay.
you can make a burner, just Nintendo online account that's not Nintendo Switch Online.
Right.
So what's preventing you from being like, I'm registering me and Patrick, and not me registering me and Mark?
Uh,
I think we love each other, so they can't stop us.
yeah, no, I don't think nothing is stopping us from registering ourselves as like
Each other's family.
as each other's family, but we still only have one chance
Each, though.
No,
No?
because I think the way I'm reading it is
Yeah.
like, if I'm the primary participant,
Yes.
I can enter,
Right.
but you have to link my Nintendo account to your Nintendo account. And so you
okay.
can't enter because you've already been entered as a child in my account. Does that make sense? I'd have to
So
create a
this is,
burner.
you would have to create a burner because
Yeah.
I have created a burner,
Uh-huh.
and now you will also create a burner.
Yes.
And so we can do this.
Yeah, we could do it that
and I'll
way.
just pair up with your burner, and you can pair up with my burner.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
That's right.
And our partner's just totally cut out of this entirely.
Who?
Yeah, let's too complicated.
But yeah, but we have time to figure it out. Again, registration doesn't open until May 31st, and
Do you
it
think
runs through
they-
June 22nd.
Do you think they assign which day you get to go to?
I do, yeah. Yeah.
And that's just it. Then you can't. There's no appeals process.
Yeah.
So
That's
like,
right. It's being adjudicated by Tom Nook.
I get why they would do this in that it prevents the thing from being like sold out and then scalpers and from like jacking up prices and stuff like that. So that's appreciated. But the whole like ticket lottery thing, we're not going to a Taylor Swift concert here, right? Like I just want to go to a Nintendo fan event. And maybe this is just the baggage that comes with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're just anticipating way too much demand, especially being right next door to PAX East.
Yeah.
Or West.
Yeah.
That and having this like additional way for PAX West participants to get standalone tickets. I think they are anticipating that there will be a lot of demand.
Knowing that this is more or less just an expansion of Nintendo's presence at PAX West, does it make you more excited about the event or less excited?
It makes me less excited about the event, but only because, I had sky high aspirations.
Of course,
that
you
this
gotta.
was going to be, like a 3-day Nintendo fan convention, and it was never going to be anything like that crazy.
Right.
But I think I'm super excited. I am still very excited to see what the event offers, and I hope that it's really successful for them, so that way they continue to expand it in future years.
Yeah, I agree with that. And also just like, I mean, I think I may be more down on it just in general than you are, just because like the potential for it to be that like standalone Nintendo fan event got me so excited.
Totally.
But like, okay, yeah, I guess it is just PAX West. It is funny that like, because PAX is run by ReedPop, right? Like, so Nintendo just abandoning one ReedPop event for another.
Yeah.
In the form of E3 to PAX West is very funny. I mean, I do like the Nintendo presence at E3, and it makes E3 worth going to. So maybe this makes PAX West worth going to.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been to a PAX event.
Yeah, me neither.
And I think it could be super fun.
So,
and if we got into the Nintendo booth, that would just kind of be the cherry on the top.
Yeah, well, and this is also like, I know that PAX like does have panels and podcasts and stuff. So like that kind of thing that we were like, Nintendo would never do that at their live event.
Right.
But PAX sure would.
Right.
So, all stuff to consider. We have nothing to announce at this time, but like, it's all in the ether, I think.
There is going to be an official strategy guidebook for the Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. It'll be 500 pages and is a partnership between Nintendo and Piggyback. It'll come in a regular and premium edition. With the premium edition is hardcover, has an extra large map poster and a small art section. But it won't be available until June 16th, so a little over a month after the game is released. The premium edition, the hardcover, is $44.99, and the paperback will be $29.99, and you can pre-order now.
Guidebooks always very cool. I loved them in like the Super Nintendo, PlayStation, like those sort of overlapping eras. I had a Final Fantasy VII. It was not the official like Prima strategy guide. It was like someone else that like dug really deep into like materia pairings and like strategies for fighting stuff and like notes about the like Japanese PC version of the game and like all this stuff. And I would just pour over it for hours. And I love that kind of thing. I've not purchased a strategy guide in recent years, but like I don't know. There's something very fun about having like a physical, tangible.
I was just thinking the same thing. I can't remember the last time I purchased a strategy guide, but there is something appealing about having like that physical.
Yeah.
I think I'm just so excited for Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, me too.
You know, and so I'm just like picturing myself with like the official guide, poring over the pages in my lap, you know, while I
sitting up in bed.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, this will come out a little bit over a month. But if you
yeah, little over a month and a little over a month after the game comes out. You think they need that extra time to get all the Korok seeds or something?
Also, if you want more Tears of the Kingdom information ahead of the release this Friday, Nintendo's will be live streaming a Nintendo Treehouse launch event on Thursday, May 11th, starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, so 9:45 p.m. Eastern time. It'll include 4 gameplay segments and more content counting down to the release of the game at midnight.
Which at midnight on the East Coast.
Eastern time. That's
so
right.
So that means that it's roughly 2 hours 2 hours and 15 minutes from the beginning of this thing through the 4 gameplay sections and whatever content makes up this countdown. What kind of content do you think makes up a countdown?
Yeah, I don't know. I hope, since it's in New York, I hope they are doing some sort of like Times Square
ball drop kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're using the time reversing power on it, so it's actually a ball that like goes up. Mark, we're so close to this game coming out. Do you want to engage with this content? Like, what are you thinking here?
I love that they're doing it. I honestly don't think I will.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they're gonna like spoil anything major in the gameplay.
But you still just want to be surprised.
Yeah, I'm happy to go into it knowing what I know now, and I don't need to know any. Like, I don't plan on reading reviews. I am really excited to just kind of like go into this. I think because I am just a little like, I mean, for lack of a better term, nervous about about Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay, all right.
Like a nervous excitement.
Yeah.
That I just want to go in and just like have my own experience with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I do not feel nervous about this. I feel confident. I feel like not that we're like actually invested in Nintendo or like that the success or failure of this game truly does anything to us, but like the just sort of built-in kinship I feel with Nintendo and with the Zelda series, I feel good about everything we've seen so far, everything we haven't seen so far, because I feel like there's still huge amounts of this game that of these systems that we don't have any idea about yet. And I think it's gonna be rad. I think it's gonna be so fun and huge, and I can't wait to get into it. I am sort of tempted to watch this just for like Treehouse is a fun thing, right?
Mm-hmm,
and
totally.
Treehouse about something you like or are interested in, even better, right?
Yeah.
I've watched a ton of Treehouses for like Xenoblade games, and I'm like, why am I doing this? Why do I do this?
I do want to see the last like 30 seconds at least or something. Like what is going to end the stream?
Yeah.
Are they gonna like live stream people purchasing it? So that would be a fun event to go to.
What a bummer way to end that.
I mean, that's really what we're...
someone swiping their credit card. They probably prepaid.
They probably, yeah. No, I mean, it does seem like it would be a fun event to attend in like person.
Yeah.
Like I think probably the hype for the game and everybody's excitement there. Like a midnight launch of anything is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's so fun.
The Strong Museum of Play in Rochester, New York has announced their inductees to the Video Game Hall of Fame for 2023. Among the most recent honorees is Wii Sports.
There you go. I've been to the Museum of Play in Rochester, New York.
Really?
Yes, many years ago now, probably like 11 years ago. I played with some like Sesame Street puppets, and it was a great time. And I think it was kind of before they were doing video game stuff there. But yeah, it is cool, and like their choices for inductees this year are a little strange. It feels like maybe a weird honor, but Wii Sports is among them. So a weird game, but obviously very important to video game history.
Do you think what is the song that they sing at like the country music? I was just in Nashville not that long ago, and so that's
At
why
the Grand Ole Opry?
it made me think of this. I think it's like "Will the Circle Be Unbroken" or something like that. Is they sing that at the inductee of every new people added to the Country Music Hall of Fame, and I'm wondering what they do for the video game Hall of Fame. Do they all like?
I imagine that like they like hold up like a cartridge or whatever, and it goes do 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 do.
That feels right.
And then there's little 8-bit fireworks behind it.
That feels right. Bandai Namco has both announced and released a new version of the Dark Pictures anthology Man of Medan.
On Switch. So the Dark Pictures anthology series of games is like a sort of horror cinematic game where you can like make choices and affect like which characters survive to the end of like this 6 to 7 hour horror movie experience, and you can do these things single player. You can do them 2 to 4 or 2 to 5 player multiplayer, sort of like handing controllers around, and they're fun, weird little like narrative video game experiences. They'd previously been out on at least PlayStation, maybe also Xbox, but this kind of came out of nowhere on Switch, just revealed and released last week.
Very cool.
It's the first one here is $20. It's been out on other platforms since August of 2019, and there's no word on whether the other adventures in this series are also going to come to Switch. The only one that I've really put any time into is called Little Hope. And it was really fun. I played with my friends on Same Day Shipping that we were playing over at Kelly's house, and it was a super fun time to like watch people make dumb decisions in a horror movie scenario, or like freak out at QuickTime events, or stuff like that. So it would be cool to see the rest of these come to Switch. And like I said, no word on that now, but also there was no word on this until it happened. So maybe the Dark Pictures anthology games are going to be coming to Switch. And they're running natively too. It's not even cloud versions or anything like that.
Oh. Double Dragon Gaiden?
That's Gaiden.
Rise of the Dragons was announced last week. The pixel art throwback brawler in the style of the original Double Dragon games comes by way of publisher Modus Games and developer Secret Base, as supported by Arc System Works.
So I mean, I feel like this kind of throwback brawler style game is it's a moment right now. It's the River City Girls. It's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Shredder's Revenge, and now it is a new Double Dragon game, which is that's a style of game that I like, and especially when they get like a modern coat of paint where like you have to actually like learn how to play the games instead of just like throw quarters at it until you win. Shredder's Revenge is so good at being a game that you can actually learn to play and like get better at. I'm hopeful that Double Dragon Gaiden Rise of the Dragons falls into that same mold, but it could just be another Double Dragon game, which I don't love the Double Dragon games.
Well, I like that it's a Gaiden story. So it's like telling an alternate history.
Well, yes. So the quote from the press release is it's the early beginnings of the young Double Dragon brothers in an alternate history. So canon is preserved, Mark.
A sigh of relief across the land.
Woo! I wouldn't want the Double Dragon canon to be, no conflicts there.
The Switch version of Marvel's Midnight Suns has been officially canceled, kind of unceremoniously.
Mm.
In a blog post announcing the digital release dates of the Xbox One and PS4 versions of the game, 2K and Fire Access slipped in this nugget, quote, "Note that a Nintendo Switch version of Marvel's Midnight Suns is no longer planned."
So, interesting development, and kind of a bummer of a development too, right? Like, I think this is Marvel's Midnight Suns wasn't like a huge splash when it launched on PS5 and Xbox Series, but like I do think some of that was people being like, seems like a fun, tactical game. I'll pick it up on Switch, right? Like that it doesn't need to be a graphical powerhouse or like even the kind of game that you have to play on those systems. So like, why not play it portably? Like it has so much in common with like a Fire Emblem or Advance Wars type of game that like, why not have that on a portable platform, right?
Yeah, it feels like the game just kind of unfortunately stumbled at every turn.
Yeah.
Originally it was like announced and planned to launch in 2021. Then it kept getting pushed back and finally released in December 2022, but not, like the Switch version and not the Xbox One and PS4 versions. And so I don't think it did particularly well when it came out. I wonder why it's not making it to Switch. I wonder if like they couldn't get it to run well, or just the game didn't perform that well, and so they were just cutting their losses.
That must be it, because like it's not just a matter of like cutting versions of it, that it's not just like it is a different version. So because like you would think that you would prioritize putting it on Switch over PS4 and Xbox, like that people in the Sony and Microsoft ecosystems could possibly have the newer consoles play it there, but the Nintendo ecosystem is cut out of it. It seems like that it just couldn't do it.
Yeah, I bet you're right.
Our friend Kelly really likes this game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, loves it. Loves just like putting the characters together, and because there's like a social element to it where like you're making Blade and Spider-Man hang out, and like
that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean like you're already laughing. And like you get Dr. Michael Morbius in there, and like the whole thing just becomes this like weird mishmash of characters that shouldn't go together but have to,
and like weird versions of those characters, right?
I like only kind of. Here's the thing. No matter what you do to make Spider-Man a weird version of Spider-Man, he's still Peter Parker, right? Like he's still like a 17-year-old kid who's like goofy and has to hang out with Ghost Rider or whatever. So yeah, I think they're weird versions of them, but only slightly weird versions.
Got it. Well, finally, we have the results of this past weekend's Splatoon 3 Splatfest. The event was Zelda Tears of the Kingdom themed, and pitted power against wisdom against courage.
Yes.
Team Power dominated by winning all of the categories, but in every individual category, it was actually very close, evenly matched.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of like blowouts in these things in the past, where it's like, oh man, there was really only a choice between like these two things. But I feel like there's no easy like breakaway, either like obvious pick or obvious troll pick between wisdom, courage, and power. So they were all like evenly matched.
Yeah, they're all kind of like, because sometimes I feel like it falls on, especially these ones that are game based, like who's the favorite character or that sort of thing. But like you're kind of choosing between Ganon, Zelda, or Link. So you're going to be pretty evenly split.
Yeah. And like, so there's just like, there's no obvious reason to pick one over the other. So it seems like everyone was just spread far and wide. Maybe the closest one of these three-way Splatfest we've ever seen.
Very cool.
All right, Mark, let's get out of the news. That is going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, the last news episode we record
Unbelievable.
before Tears of the Kingdom comes out. So let's all just be excited about that together. Anthony DeLuca made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can get more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Ellers saying thank you for listening.